Hey guys, Todd here with HobbyLink Japan, and it is time for another review from home. And today we are going to take a look at one of the latest releases in the Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise line of HG kits, and it is the Gundam GP-Rase-Two-Ten. Now this is Ogre's mobile suit. Now, that name kind of sounded familiar to me. I actually still haven't watched this show. It's something I keep meaning to get around to, but I did recall about 2 years ago there was another Ogre released HG kit that I built, and I really tried to dig out that kit. I'm pretty sure I built it, but I couldn't find the kit itself. I could only find this box here for it. For some reason I had the box readily available, but the kit itself, I'm not sure where it went. But yeah, 2 years ago, 2018, there was an Ogre GNX released. So this new one, the GP-Rase, is kind of, I guess it's Ogre's brand new suit for the latest version of the Build Divers series here. So quite an interesting suit. Now before I continue any further into this video, I have to say it has been brought to my attention that a lot of you out there are watching this but are not yet subscribed to our channel. So I implore you to take 2 seconds out of your life and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Not only does it help us, but it will help you to be notified whenever we have new videos that go up. We're constantly uploading latest new reviews and looks at what new items come into stock, and not only as far as the Gundam stuff goes, but there's the Boss Build. Scott's building a lot of stuff, and there's a new show that they're doing about the latest news in the scale modeling world. So lots of good stuff, many reasons to be subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are not already. Alright, so getting back to this suit here. Now, as I constantly mention, I mention it lots of times over the years, that I really am a fan of kind of the larger sized mobile suits here for Gundam, and this guy definitely is a big, bulky type of suit right up my alley. Now, not only is the suit in the center itself quite bulky, look at the size of those legs, look at the size of those feet. Now, because these feet are nice and big, it also makes this kit quite easy. He's not tipping over. He's not trying to step on some kind of weird stilettos that they do with a lot of designs lately. So he's got, yeah, those nice feet. It really help him stand up nice and straight. And he's got these interesting kind of, what do they call them? They're like binders, I guess, hanging off the sides of his shoulders. And these weird kind of binder things on the side there, they really add to that bulk. And not only do we have the binders on this kit, but we also have those giant, the GN revolver bazookas hanging off the top of his shoulder as well. Whoops, he's getting knocked over. The swords on his back keep hitting onto that box behind him, so gotta be careful there. But yeah, love the look of these dual kind of bazookas hanging off of his shoulders, and these things are really nice and good sized bazookas. So yeah, also we have the sword. So I kind of just went ahead and just put on as much as possible to this suit, just to give him the kind of make it look as massive as possible here from the beginning. I'm gonna start pulling stuff off from it later, so might as well start with everything equipped from the beginning, and as we take a closer look at the kit itself, we're gonna continue to keep pulling stuff off of it. Alright, so gosh, what should I look at first? So this kit is basically, it's based off of the GP-O2A Gundam kit. So it does use a number of 2 or 3 runners, I believe it was, from that original GP-O2A kit. Now that kit was released, according to the runners, that kit was released back in 2006 for that original RX-78 GP-O2A release. So there are quite a few parts on this runner here. This is the D runner, including the V-fin. Quite a few parts here that you are just not going to use for this kit. So that's always kind of an added bonus with some of these build fighter kits, that you end up with some extra spare parts to keep for your stash. And here's some of the ones from the A runner. Now I'm always kind of a fan of whenever I end up getting these kind of spare thruster engine parts. These are always kind of cool for scratch building and whatnot, so some interesting cool parts, spare parts left over with this guy, which is nice to get. So yeah, but for the most part, a lot of this kit is really new. I think it was only the three runners in there that were still parts from that original GP-02, but for quite a bit of it, this is actually going to be quite a lot of new stuff going on with this kit. Alright, so let's grab this guy here and take a look. So even though this is based off of the GP-02, we also have GN drives, which is not from the original Gundam series, but that's from the 00 Gundam series. You get the suits with the GN drives, but this guy has GN drives on his binders there to provide him with extra power, so that is something else that is quite cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at these binders, because they maybe can be a bit in the way here. And actually, I'm going to go towards here on the back of this unit, which is really nice for storing these things. I always kind of I much prefer whenever these kits have like a peg on the back for storing the swords, because when it's just displayed on your shelf, if he's not actually holding the sword, then you're going to have to kind of store it someplace separate, and it's easy to kind of lose these guys. So yeah, it's always nice to have someplace on the unit itself where you can store all of his extra weapons. So you get the 2 swords for him. Actually, maybe let's go ahead and talk about the swords first while I have them pulled off here. So here we have it. We have, now what are the names for these things? So both of these swords, these are going to be the GN Ogre Sword Nishiki or the GN Ogre Twin Sword Nishiki. So the twin sword, what you're going to end up doing is you can snap them together like so, and you end up with this cool kind of twin sword where he'll be able to grip into the center of the handle here. And yeah, that's kind of a really awesome, cool looking weapon, I have to say, once they are combined. Now also, since I have the swords here, and let's continue to talk about the sword, there is one more cool trick feature that you can use or do with these swords, and that is going to be here with something you can do to combine it with the binder. So one of the extra parts they give you is this kind of long rectangular piece with a hole in the center there, and you can slide that over the handle, and you should be able to open up his binder here. Now you'll notice on the bottom side of the binder there is a peg. Whoops, I just knocked off a piece of his helmet there, and you should be able to make sure I get this on here correctly. Maybe I shouldn't have put that one off again. So you should be able to peg that into that hole there, and you should be able to put the rest of the claw around the sword handle there. So now you have the sword can be equipped to the bottom of that shoulder binder thing hanging off his side there. So that's kind of quite cool, and you can do that for both sides. They give you that little clip, sword holding clip, to be able to equip swords on both of the binders. So one kind of cool trick feature to go with these binders and to use with the swords. So let's go ahead and pull off this sword here. There we go. Alright, and now let's continue to take a look at the binders once I get his missing helmet piece on there. Alright, so here we have the binder. Now the binder has a couple of, besides being able to plug the sword into the bottom there, it has a couple of other cool looking features. And one of those, let's start off with what is hiding behind door number 1 and door number 2. So we have here, they call these the GNI's blasters. So let's go ahead and fold up his, both of these bazookas are on a hinge, so you can fold them down or fold them up. And there's another cool thing you can do with the bazookas, which we'll take a look at later. So let's fold that bazooka in the back, and then we can pull up the binder. The binder's on a nice hinge. There's quite a bit of movement that you can do with these binders here. You can see there's a peg that lets you move it from side to side there, as well as another joint that lets you move it up and down. Alright, so the GNI blasters, we have here these 2 purple doors should be able to open up there. And once you have them opened up, they reveal the GN Eyes blasters. So that is kind of cool. This guy is really packing some extra heat. And you can close them when you're not wanting to use them. Now in the manual, actually, the Eyes blasters, let me bring this down here, it looks like they should be painted yellow. However, those plastic parts that come with the kit, they are just straight grace, and there are no stickers to put onto these Eyes blasters, so you will need to paint them if you want to have it be accurate. Alright, so that's it for the Eyes blasters. Now let's take a look at this, the GN, or the Ogre Claw 10, as they call them here. So here at the bottom we have the Ogre Claw. Now you saw earlier that I could plug in that sword. There's also, this is the fixed Ogre Claw position here at the that I have equipped at the moment. Now this kit also includes, let me bring some of them over here, a second type of claw that you can pull off those fixed ones. Whoop! There's an earthquake happening right as I'm reviewing this video here. There's been a couple of earthquakes happening here over the last few days. Even a rather big one the other day was like a 5.1 or something. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the claw here. This version of the claw has a joint at the bottom of it. To put these kind of claw tips with that flexible tip on, we are going to have to pull off this entire claw assembly here. And you'll notice there is a connector point right there where we are going to plug in this other claw unit here. So let's go ahead and equip all three of his claws on here. There we go. And now you have the binder equipped with this other style of claw with that other cool feature that you can do with this binder here. Let me go ahead and put that back in the up position. If you pull this out, it has this other joint on the inside there. So you can pull this out, and then you can actually twist this. So you can have him be standing like this with the binder outstretched and the tip of the binder pointing forward. And then what you can do with this binder in this position is take your standard beam saber here, and you'll be able to just plug that right into that little hole there in the tip. So now you can have the claw here with the beam saber sticking out of the end of his binder. So that is kind of quite cool, I have to say. Another cool feature. Lots of features, lots of cool trick features on this kit. So let's go ahead and close that binder back up. Now I'll just go ahead and leave this claw on the end of this binder for now, just so I don't have to deal with it anymore. And let's take a look at what other kind of cool features we get with this kit. And let's go ahead and take a look at the bazookas. So as I mentioned earlier with the bazooka, it does have this joint that you can connect to that binder there. And then you are able to position this up or down however you would like. Now you can binders. And one thing that you can do, once you have those two bazookas off of his binder, you can actually use these pegs to equip the swords here as well. So if you don't want to have the swords equipped on the back, on his back plate like I had earlier in the video, then you can also remove the bazookas and you can put the swords onto those pegs. So there's that option. Now with the bazookas, you have the ability not only to have them on the shoulder. Now when I keep this on my shelf later, I'm just going to permanently have the bazookas on the shoulder because that makes it quite easier to keep track of, and I think it looks quite better with those bazookas on there. But you can also take the bazookas, and underneath the bazooka there is a handle that can swivel out. And then you can just have him holding on to the bazookas just like any other kind of regular gun type of weapon. So that is something else that is quite cool, I have to say. So you have the option bazooka on the shoulder or in his hands, however you would like to do it. Yeah, the option is yours. Alright, so gosh, I think, is I missing anything else about those binders? So much to cover about the binders, I think. The binders, they also have these cool kind of thrusters on the back of this guy. So he's got quite a few thrusters going going on around here, so he should be able to fly pretty fast, I would imagine, which is quite cool. So yeah, and the GN drive, so he's not just one GN drive, but he's got 2 GN drives, so he's going to have a lot of power for this suit, which he might need with all of the weapons that he's packing on this suit. Now, speaking of weapons, not only does this guy have the 2 twin bazooka weapons, not only does he have the beam saber that can be equipped from the bottom of the claw, not only did he have the GN eye blasters, which are on the front of those binders there, not only does he have the cool the GN ogre sword Nishiki, or the twin Shiki if you want to combine them, but he also has, this kit comes with actually one more weapon, and it's kind of a cool looking weapon, and here it is. Now they call this the Rase-Two Connoisseur Bow. So this is like a ogre's club, basically, pretty much. Now the ogre's club, it's got a handle like pretty much you would expect a club to have, actually. You could just equip this into his hand and he should be able to go out there and club other mobile suits to death. I don't really know if it's death, but club them to defeat, I guess you can say. Or, not only is this an ogre club, but this one also has a handle that can stretch out, and this says that once this handle is stretched out, and then he can hold on to it like a gun, because apparently on the tip of this ogre club, this thing also has a beam bazooka. So it can shoot a beam out of its tip there. So that's another kind of cool weapon. This one, I can't really get this into his hand, but anyway, yeah, it's kind of a cool weapon. So lots and lots and lots of weapons included with this guy. Now these bazookas here, they actually had 2 stickers for the sights here. Might be a bit hard to see with the lighting. You can see those blue metallic stickers in this angle. So that was kind of cool. There is a number of stickers around this kit, actually. Let's go ahead. You can see there's one here at the top back of his helmet. There was a sticker that was applied there. Now these 2 yellow marks here on his knee pads, those are going to be stickers as well. Now there's also a sticker here for this, probably, is that a machine gun on the top of his shoulder? Not. He's got a whole nother weapon up there, as well as his eyes here for his helmet, and what else? I think pretty much, yeah, that was pretty much all the stickers that were to this guy. So there's just a few that you have to put onto him, but not a whole lot. Now, because he is just so bulky, I don't think you're really going to be able to expect a whole lot. You can't really expect a whole lot in terms of articulation for this mobile suit. Although the foot here, it actually is kind of decent. I mean, it's just so big. But yeah, this little centerpiece here, this is actually articulated separate. It's on a completely separate peg from the rest of the foot, so you are able to pose that centerpiece there around in different kind of angles. The leg itself, just because it is so big, can't really do a whole lot with it. But I think a lot of people out there, when you buy these kind of big bulky suits, you're not really expecting to do huge types of really wondrous action type poses with these things. Now the binder, of course, because those things are going to be blocking a lot of the arm movement, so the arm is pretty basic, what you can expect for an HG kit. Not really a double jointed elbow. That's about as far as this thing is going to bend, although the elbow does have this kind of cool spike off of the tip of it, so that is quite cool. Now we have just a standard type of ball joint there for the hand. And yeah, the helmet, the head is pretty basic there. Not a whole lot to write home about. Definitely you're not going to get any kind of real center articulation that we've seen in a lot of the other reviews I've done lately. You're just going to be able to kind of twist left and right. So that is pretty much going to be it. Although I guess you can pivot slightly. Although given the weight, it's probably never going to hold those positions if you do try to pose it in that manner. Okay, gosh, what am I missing for this guy? I like the style of that new helmet that he has. Oh, actually, I completely forgot to mention. I mentioned he's got the 2 GN drives on the shoulder, and then I completely forgot to mention the one on his back. So he actually has 3, not just 2 but 3 different GN drives on there. So ooh, lots of power for this mobile suit. But yeah, since it's so big with all of those weapons, he definitely kind of needs that power. So quite cool. Alright, so hopefully, I wonder if we'll end up getting another suit from an ogre at some point in the future. Maybe he can build something that is just slightly bigger. Who knows? We'll have to see. Alright guys, so thanks again for watching. We'll be back with the review of something else here in the future. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the video, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are taking care, and stay inside.